Hello and good evening from the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5.
But it's mostly ground corn. That's the
US President Donald Trump has ordered meat processing plants to stay open to protect the nation's food supply amid the coronavirus pandemic. He invoked a Korean War-era law from the 1950s to mandate that plants continue to function amid industry warnings of strain on the supply chain. 22 US meat packing plants across the American Midwest have closed during the outbreak.
Thank you for being a part of this program.
Meanwhile, US Vice President Mike Pence, the man who leads the White House coronavirus task force, has visited a top US hospital without wearing a mask, despite the medical center's own rules that visitors should wear personal protective equipment. Mr. Pence appeared to be the only person without a facial covering. He defended his decision as necessary in order to meet with staff and patients. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's fiancee, Carrie Simons, has given birth to a baby boy during the 6th week of the coronavirus lockdown in the UK. It's after Johnson was discharged from hospital on April the 12th after himself contracting COVID-19. Simons also had symptoms of the virus. A spokeswoman for the Prime Minister and his partner said both mother and baby are doing very well. A fire at a construction site in South Korea has killed at least 36 people and injured another 7. All of the victims were construction workers who had been building a warehouse in the city of Incheon, about 80 kilometers southeast of Seoul. A representative for the provincial fire department said they were still working to determine the number of casualties. Senegal's authorities have begun a campaign to distribute food aid to vulnerable citizens as the country remains in lockdown. The country's Minister for Community Development handed out the first food kit in Guinea, a suburb just outside the capital Dakar. He said that 1 million households across the country would receive a package containing oil, sugar, soap, pasta and rice, worth around $109.
ऑडियंस जो है अलग-अलग तरह का सिनेमा देखना चाहती है.
Irfan Khan, the Indian actor famous for his roles in internationally acclaimed movies such as Life of Pi and Slumdog Millionaire, has died at the age of 54. He had battled with cancer for a long time and is survived by his wife and 2 children.
I am thrilled to be part of your campaign.
The former US presidential candidate Hillary Clinton has endorsed the campaign of her fellow Democrat Joe Biden. The endorsement marks the latest in a series of high-profile Democrats lining up behind Biden ahead of what is expected to be a tight contest against President Donald Trump.
Right now, if we had a president who not only listened to the science, put facts over fiction, but brought us together, showed the kind of compassion and caring that we need from our president and which Joe Biden has been exemplifying throughout his entire life. Think of what it would mean if we had a real president, not just somebody who plays one on TV, but somebody who gets up every morning worried about the people that he's responsible for leading during this crisis. Well, I know what a difference it would make because I've been there. I've seen firsthand what presidents can and should do. And I, like so many Americans, really wish that we had that kind of leadership now.
I'm happy again.
And finally, residents in Geneva had the answer to the miserable weather on Tuesday with a rendition of Singing in the Rain. In fact, people here have been meeting nightly on their balconies for weeks to lift spirits by singing and dancing. Neighbours living in the apartments of the Roundhouse, a century-old housing block, get together around 6 p.m. every night to take part in the nightly choir. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.